Hey mate, how can I help
Hi, I was just wondering if you could talk to me about the background in relation to the case study of sick leave.
you? Yeah, sure mate, take a seat. The case study regarding employees taking sickies has a major impact on profits derived from these behaviours. This has been an occurring issue for many decades, though more frequently as the years continue and the problematic stigma around this issue becomes more prevalent. This is no more evident than on Australia Day 2013, where $65 million was lost due to workers giving themselves an unofficial long weekend following the Thursday public holiday. Australia is where the case is formulated, though unauthorised sick leave occurs internationally. Africa and Asia have the lowest rate of absenteeism, whereas the United States and Western European countries, such as Germany and France, have the highest rates, with Australia and New Zealand falling in the middle. Additionally, deliberate absenteeism occurs due to either lack of work ethic, laziness, or lack of motivation and dedication to the workplace. Australia on average takes an average of 9.8 sick days, where Mr. Dundon says that it's acceptable to have around 6.5. Moreover, there are several reasons why a worker may take sick days. One named consultant from a big name firm said that she used sick days as stress relief, while others use these days for an extended break. On days such as Australia Day, 171,000 people nationwide were expected to dial a sickie, costing employees up to $65 million. Conversely, in some organisations, staff take no to very little sick days because they feel as if their job's too important and as if they couldn't even contemplate having a day off. Though it can be assumed that sick days and the amount of days taken can correlate to how dreadful one's job is. Though the national president of the Australian Human Resources Institute, Peter Wilson, says that a high level of absenteeism can indicate that something in the workplace isn't quite right. This can be maybe job unrest or maybe even job security. Mary Wyatt, an occupational physician and manager of Return to Work Matters, says sickness absence comes down to management by individual organisation, and the likelihood of a large amount of sick leave increases when a large number of workers do the same thing. An example of this may be at the factories where multiple workers do the exact same thing. Now I'll pass it on to Jackson, who specialises in problems and key issues.
Thanks, Daniel. There are a number of problems that can arise from sick leave. These fall under the categories of ethical behaviour and social responsibility. By instilling in employees the importance of sick leave for its intended use and creating a sense of responsibility in employees, this will lead to a decrease in the amount of sickies. Controlling. Without organisational control to monitor and manage employees, there is a loss in productivity and an increase in absenteeism, as employees do not feel that there will be any effect on the business, as managers haven't made it prevalent. Human resource management. Without HR bringing together a workforce of employees with the correct skills as well as being motivated, this will lead to a business not achieving their goals and objectives due to absenteeism. Motivation and reward. Without a motivation or purpose for employees to work towards, this can increase dissatisfaction within the employee base and contribute to the likeliness of absenteeism. Individuals' job design and stress. High levels of stress due to a job design that fails to consider employees' well-being and outside life can lead to an increase in sickies to gain this satisfaction outside work hours. Leading and managing change. Effective leadership must be prevalent when implementing action plans within the business to adapt to change within a business and motivate employees. The key issues are 1. Motivation. In accordance to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, employees have psychological and physiological needs for satisfaction. By implementing the correct motivation to employees, for example in the case of sick leave, bonus pay for RDOs and sick leave not used in a year of work, it can decrease the amount of absenteeism within a workforce, as employees' desire for satisfaction and reward due to their work will motivate them. Number 2, human resource management. The main task of human resource management is to acquire and hire a team of capable, skillful and enthusiastic employees. By acquiring a team of the said characteristics, the likeliness of sickies decreases as employees are enthusiastic towards the goals of the business. Once a strong team is established, human resource management is then tasked with establishing an environment that will allow employees to feel valued for their efforts. In turn, employees will return the favour through their work. These factors leading to a team of workers with low absenteeism and high work ethic, production and efficiency. Lastly is controlling. Controlling within a business monitors, measures and can modify the amount of sick leave within a business. Without effective control management, there is a direct effect on a business's productivity and efficiency. As well as these, there are also increased costs due to the fact through lost work, delayed productivity, and employees paid for their sick leave. By using the control process of establishing performance objectives, measuring performance, comparing said performances to business objectives, and taking any necessary action, this can limit the amount of sickies within the workforce. I'll now pass it to Sinclair, who will talk about the relevant theories to these issues.
Thanks, Jackson. The topics of the theories covered within this analysis include motivation, human resource management, and also controlling. In terms of motivation, satisfaction to allow motivation is highlighted within Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is a basis of a number of theories to allow for human needs to be fulfilled. When these needs are fulfilled, motivation for individuals' job increases. These theories include the self-efficacy theory and the acquired needs theory. The self-efficacy theory is one that an individual believes that they have the ability and the competency to be able to perform a task and do it well. The outcome of a worker believing in their self to complete the task well will increase in the motivation. An employee can enhance their ability of being motivated if they are accompanied by the 4 ways to increase self-efficacy. These include an active mastery, such as going through a positive experience, vigorous modelling, such as watching a manager perform a task and the employee learning from it, verbal persuasion, such as a manager telling the employee that they have the ability to perform a task, such as selling a number of units in a period of time. And the 4th one is emotional arousal, such as the importance of a sale in a business and the high anticipation that is sensed, which motivates the employee to do well. High levels of self-efficacy can also lead to an increase in psychological capital. This includes high personal confidence within the task. Optimism is the way of thinking positive in relation to a task, and being resilient through the process of completing a task. Efficacy theory demonstrates the psychological and physiological attributes needed to be motivated. If this is done in a firm, the aspect of sick leave can be minimised as the needs of employees have been fulfilled to stop unnecessary sick days. Secondly, the acquired needs theory involves the needs of power, needs of affiliation, and also the needs of achievement. The 2 aspects that involve sick leave in this case study include needs of affiliation, which is the form of warm work relationships with co-workers, and the needs of achievement, which is wanting to better themselves and master complex tasks. These needs aspects can motivate employees and can be achievable for workers, so they don't feel as if a sickie needs to be necessarily taken. This then brings me to the theories of human resource management. The human resource management process is stated as attracting, developing and maintaining. The attracting process involves the selecting aspect of attracting a quality workforce. Knowledge of the employee, especially in relation to absenteeism, can be done through reference checking. This can help the employer to make a good decision on employees. This can be done by making inquiries to former managers, co-workers and academic advisors to investigate the potential employees' past in being absent and the trends on sick leave before they are hired. Secondly, the development process. This process involves developing a quality workforce. Orientation. This includes showing the new employees aspects of the job and familiarising them with certain obligations and also the fellow co-workers. Training. This is the process of showing a new employee what they need to do to complete a task. And also mentoring. This is allowing new employees to learn off more experienced employees for a later opportunity to be promoted. This lets me move on to maintaining process. This involves work-life balance. With Australia leading the average number of hours each year, the work-life balance is important. It is the basis of allowing balance and demands in relation to work and career and personal time for individuals to spend time with their family and friends. This can be a major factor if employees are taking a sickie, so adequate balance is necessary. The third topic of controlling. The aspect of controlling and how it is correlated with employees in relation to sick leave. Controlling is a part of an overall management process and has a range of various controls that can allow breaking down the barriers between employees and employers with taking a sickie. These controls include feed forward or preliminary controls. These are controls that ensure that the processes are put into place prior to work beginning to eliminate misfortune at a later time. Secondly is concurrent or steering control. These controls occur whilst operating or work is being carried out. Thirdly is clan control. Clan control is a behaviour influenced by certain groups of people who share values and allow aspects as being the norm and expectations of a particular culture. For example, at the uni, and uni students are expected to be quiet and listen to a lecture as it will be useful for their learning. These controls can be put into place during a particular event or working with a group of people to deter individuals of taking a sickie. I'll now hand you over to Travis, who will tell you about the problem-solving objectives.
Thanks, Sinclair. One objective that should be focused on to overcome the issues of excessive sick days taken in the workforce is the implementation of motivation and reward systems. This is an example of the leadership process that, when used correctly, inspires and motivates staff to show up to work and be more productive while they are there. The motivation could come from some incentive, such as a bonus for having achieved continued satisfactory performance, or a sales target, depending on the industry in question. If you do not show up, you would miss out. Motivation could also come from self-satisfaction in the job. This is an example of good selection and training of staff. Managers could use this to shift some of the responsibility from themselves to the staff, and as a result, they would be more likely to feel appreciated and turn up. My second objective is for managers and bosses alike to be more flexible and understanding regarding staff life needs. If employers were more open to staff coming in an hour later than rostered due to a health concern, then employees would be less likely to take the entire day off, which would help reduce the use of unnecessary sick days. This is an easily implemented idea that would mainly require the hiring of more understanding and sympathetic managers or a change in company policy regarding the staff needs. But this would be quite effective nonetheless. The last objective is also the strategic objective to solve the problem, as it would take the most time but also be the most effective solution. It involves the implementation of a better HR process to develop a quality workforce from bottom level staff to managers alike. This should involve the HR recruiting process to ensure that a company gets the best potential employees for the jobs required, Advertising is key here to attract a diversified pool of applicants. Once this step has been achieved, management should then refer to the HR selection process. In this step, several tests and checks should be done on the applicants to ensure they are a good fit for the role required. Once an applicant has been accepted, they should then receive proper training and mentoring to make sure they know their role and the best way to achieve their goals for a business. While employed, performance appraisals should be carried out to let the employees know when they have done a good job and what they may need to improve on. If employees feel they do well and are happy in their current role, they are more likely to turn up for their shifts and remain loyal to the company they work for. I'll now pass it on to Arjun with the implementation and action plan.
Thanks, Travis. As stated by the previous speakers, sick leaves or sickies have been a popular getaway card for employees that do not want to go to work for a day or two. This is due to several reasons that have been explained and the ways it can be solved have been discussed. But if an organisation does not implement the ideas in the correct manner to decrease the number of sickies that their employees take, there will be no use for any strategies. Therefore, an action plan is vital to help. Rewarding staff members can be a pivotal idea to help the business have staff members that are happily going to work every day. If bonuses would be given out for workers that have been consistently coming to work with full motivation, there would have to be a few limitations. This would include keeping records every few months of attendance and enthusiasm, and then giving out bonuses to the staff members that have successfully exceeded the limits that the business has set out. According to the business's financial status, they could increase the bonuses on the months that have an excessive number of holidays, for example, the Christmas period. The bonuses could include extra salary to the staff member or gift cards and coupons to entertainment centres. If the strategy of flexibility is to be used correctly, it can help several businesses improve their staff's motivation to go to work instead of missing out on a whole day. For managers to become lenient on staff members itself has its limitations as well. For example, employees could exploit this by still going to work but coming in late due to having an hour more sleep. But with an action plan made, the manager can insist the staff to give him or her prior notice and valid reasoning. This should also be recorded, so therefore the manager will see if the employees are taking advantage of the flexibility that is being offered. But if a company are using both strategies of rewarding staff members and flexibility, they can clash and backfire on each other. This is because an employee may have to miss out on an hour of work due to a serious situation and therefore could affect their bonus. But if flexibility does not affect the bonus, employees could exploit the flexibility and still receive a bonus. Therefore, if suited with the business and managers, they could do an extra hour of work on another date before the next bonus is received. This makes that manager happy because it involves no sick leave and the hours are still correct, and the employee is happy because they still get their bonus. But if the business and or manager do not like the idea of adding 1 hour to another day, they can simply reduce or cut their bonus for that period. This will have to be implemented in a correct manner so the staff members feel all equal with the same reimbursements and restrictions. To sum up, there are several plans that can help businesses reduce the amount of sick leaves that their employees have, depending on what they want to pursue at.
Thank you for that information.
No worries. I hope this information on sick leaves helps you in your studies.